We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred.
With Maxwell Silverhammer.
We are nothing sacred. With cruise control. We are nothing sacred.
Oh, yes, bitches.
Hello, everyone. It's time for that once again to get into your mind and to delve deep. Yeah, this is the Nothing Sacred Shrink Wrap. I am Cruise Control.
I'm Maxwell Silverhammer.
And I'm Luie Loc.
Yep.
And apparently, before we get started,
Yes.
I guess Louie, you said Louie has an announcement?
Louie has an announcement. Kick it, man.
Yeah, I didn't want to make a big deal out of it, but I passed my national counselor exam. So that's just a stepping stone to becoming a full-fledged LPC. So it's one of those things, though, for all you blind listeners out there that kind of go through this, the reason why it took me so long is because of accommodations. They didn't do a very good job of fixing all that up. So it took months to get that done. I should have had my NCE, passing it like probably back in like July or August or something like that. And here we are in March. So,
Well, now you're certified, man. So it's real now. You're not just some guy, giving his opinion. It's like now you're an actual professional. So
Now he's a certified guy giving his opinion.
Exactly.
So it's even better now.
Sure.
Now you give us more cred, man. Our show has even more cred. So now if you lead our audience astray, it is on
it's mine,
your
my fault.
shoulders.
That's right.
It's malpractice,
That's
dude.
right.
If you do that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yes.
Man. Doesn't break out the lawsuits. Just remember, it's not me and Max.
No,
not me and Max.
It's Luie Loc, man. Give it all the expertise, man. All the counseling expertise.
Yeah, our opinions are just
on
opinions.
that note, then I wish to exercise my First Amendment right to remain silent.
Oh,
and
actually, it's your Fifth
and
Amendment.
my Fifth Amendment right to not self-incriminate.
You've been watching too much Dr. Dave the Beer Professor and all those guys, man. Which
Too much sovereign citizen stuff, man. It's
exactly.
hilarious.
Which, by the way, did you see the cart narc? Did you see that?
No,
narc?
I don't think so.
Okay, this guy, he actually hangs out because Dr. Dave showed him. He hangs out in parking lots and grocery stores, and when people don't go put their carts back in the corral, he goes over and he starts messing with them and saying, hey, you didn't put your cart back, man. Why don't you go put your cart back? And he sticks magnets on their cars that show, whatever, this guy won't put his cart back, or it says some shit. But he's almost gotten in some fights, man.
Why, of course. I mean,
so
mind your own business. Let the supermarket worry about that, bro.
Exactly. But that's what he calls them, the cart narc, and he calls them cart narketeers. That's what his followers. He's like, come on, okay, narketeers.
Oh boy.
So, but that's the thing.
We ought to do it. We ought to do a shrink wrap about sovereign citizens.
Yeah, fuck. We might be able to.
Yeah, well, we got April. Yay! We can find out what.
Yeah.
There's a lot of psychology behind that, or that conspiracy theory type shit, like flat Earth too. All that.
Oh,
crazy,
yeah?
weird.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Yeah.
That's kind of
But
cool. But tonight, what we're talking about
Yeah.
is people doing the same shit over and over again, expecting different results. As
we call it, some call it insanity, but I don't know. I think Louie, we're all tired of that. Same thing with different results. It's called insanity.
Yeah,
it's
kind of cliche.
But it's true that people do it, and which is different than doing the same thing and expecting the same results, which is almost as dangerous.
Oh yeah,
depending on what you're doing.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's
That's
like
true.
You see, I got guys, on my Facebook that are trying to be rappers, and it's like they've been at it forever, and it's just like, dude, your shit sucks. When are you going to learn that you got to quit? Just give it up.
Yeah, but that can be kind of seen as subjective. I mean, like.
Well, that's true. That's true.
If someone you don't like something and you think they're doing it terrible.
Actually, you know what? A better example is we have a mutual friend that keeps getting involved in these like pyramid schemes all the time, all these fly by night deals, and he continues to do them. and it's a new one all the time. And he always sending me messages, join this, do this, help me sell this shit. And I'm like, fuck off. You know,
that's actually is a better one because that's more objective, a little bit more like because he's not getting any good results from. He's never gone to you like a month later going, dude, I made, you know, a year later saying he's rich.
How much money he made from this?
It, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's just the same shit every time.
I wonder if it's I think there's a lot of reasons for why in that case, and we can just use that example as there's definitely that dopamine hit when you first dopamine, whatever the hell it's called. You know, when you first get in that pyramid scheme and you got the hope. It's like relationships, you know, like people get in the same relationship over and over again with the same person.
Yeah, I was going to actually bring that one up. So you brought it up before I did.
Well, it's kind of the same thing. It's like you're in a relationship with this group, and it's the knife, you know, it's the cutters group or whatever the hell, you know, what is the
or even a girl, you know?
Yeah,
even a girl.
Or anybody, because people tend to do that. They go back to the same things and they wonder why they're making the same mistakes. So I don't know, there's a lot involved in that.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. And the relationship's a great example too, because I see that a lot as well. You know, people will go for the same kind of people, they do the same shit, and they're like, how come I can't meet anyway? Because you're doing the same goddamn dumb thing over and over again.
I'm sure there's a lot of psychological reasons for this, but what do you think the main ones are?
So I would recommend that, you know, most counselors, most psychologists, most people in the mental health field, they come at things with multiple theories and multiple styles of handling things because it's not always one size fits all. Yeah. But one of the things that I kind of like was researching about it, and it kind of stuck with me in regard to this is this idea. It's brought to you by social psychology. It's a social psychology kind of theory. And basically it's called fundamental attribution error.
Okay.
And so an attribution is just, why do people act a certain way? What are we attributing it to? What are we giving as a reason? So in Max's case, Max is like, yeah, man, you're so stupid. Why do you keep going through the same thing over and over and over and over and over again? Right. And what we do is, we attribute things for other people, like looking at another person. We attribute it to their actual disposition, meaning there's something wrong with their character. They're flawed in some way. It's almost like putting yourself on a pedestal, like, oh yeah,
I'm better than you, kind of thing,
shit.
Right? Okay, so
that stupid shit.
So it's the other side of it where, you know, like maybe I'm going, hey, you're an idiot. What the fuck?
Because someone could say, well, you were doing music and your music sucked.
Yeah, well, like, you know what? I gave it up.
But you gave it up. Yeah, you gave it up.
Yeah.
But it's not because your music sucked though. It was everyone else's fault. See? Now that's you know.
So cruise control actually has a pretty good handle on this whole idea then of the fundamental attribution theory, because here's what we do. So there's something called dispositional attribution, which has to do with like character flaws and shit like that, right?
Okay.
And then we have something called hold on, let me think about it. I almost lost it. It's basically attribution due to it's called situational attribution. So let me give you an example real quick. So let's say you're in the grocery store or something and you're asking for help for somebody, and they're like, I don't want to help you right now. And they're all mean about it, right? Well, the dispositional attribute is, man, that guy's a jerk. What an asshole. He don't want to help nobody and he works here. What's wrong with him? Right?
Right.
But the situational attribute could be, you know, his kid is in the hospital or his wife just died, and, you know, he really doesn't feel like going to work, but he's still going to work, and he's just like, the next person who asks me something.
You can't do that when you're working. You know what I mean? In the pub, you gotta, you know.
I mean, can't just be nasty. But you're human beings, though. Sometimes you have no. And if you've done a job for like 15 years, it's no difference in a lot of times. It's not like I'm at work. You know.
Yeah. Well, but you do have to put aside your shit. You know, your personal stuff for your job.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, you're only human, right? So, I mean, has there ever been a time when you didn't put aside your personal shit for a second?
Yeah, there may have been. Yeah, I think I do have it.
There may have been
a situation. I think there was. Yeah, there was.
There's dozens of them. You don't even realize it, dude. Every day you do it.
Well, and here's the deal. What we do, so that's what we do with other
everybody.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I know. So what we do is, when we look at other people's behavior, we attribute it to character flaws and not the situation, because we're not thinking about, oh, they must be having a bad day or they must be going through something. Like that doesn't even cross our mind, right?
Right. Yeah.
But when it comes to our own stuff, when we do something stupid, then we attribute it to, oh, well, the situation happened. So and so did this, and that's why this happened, and that's why this happened. You know what I mean?
I was in a lot of pain because I hurt my foot, and I'm just I'm in such a goddamn pain that I'm just in an irritable mood. And I just slipped.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Instead of, oh, I shouldn't be a jerk at work, I messed up. You know, it's almost like not admitting to your own faults, right?
Right. So it's something else. The reason that this happened was because of something else.
Right.
If it's you, whereas if it's another person, oh, they're just a dick, you know, or something.
Yeah.
It's basically another form of the narcissism, that projection in a way. Like
kind of. Well, kind of, but narcissists aren't the only ones who do it. We almost all of us do it. You know? Yeah. And so kind of jumping into this whole idea of why do we get into these patterns, right? Why do we get into like relationships?
That's the real question.
That keep going on and on, you know, things like that, right? Since we never attribute the situation to ourselves, we always think, oh, it was just that I had a slew of messed up girlfriends.
Right. All the girls
it had nothing to do with me.
Right.
It had nothing to do with me. I didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
You know? You know, so we say, oh, well, the next one's going to be better because it wasn't me who had the problem. It was that one girl. So maybe this next girl, you know, I'm going to treat her the same way that I treated the other girl, but it's going to be different because she's different. It's not always that's not always the case, right? We have to admit to ourselves that there's certain things that we bring to the table too in our relationships. Like, man, yeah, you know, sometimes with me, I'm not a very open person. I don't like to talk to people about a lot of things going on in my life.
Okay.
And my wife can't stand that. And so I've drastically changed since I met her, but it's still every once in a while I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell her about that.
Well, yeah. And so you're
true.
right. It's a lot of our behavior patterns that kind of draw this shit to us, I guess you know. So
like I said, there's at least two theories that I could use to kind of look at this. So there's that one. There's that social psychological fundamental attribution theory. And then we're going to go back to the rational emotive therapy, which I talked about in I think the very first episode.
I think, I do with
about
Albert.
about the shoulds.
Yeah, the
shoulds.
Yes.
About the shoulds. So here's the deal. He calls it the ABC method. And to kind of review, the A is the activating event. The B is the belief system behind the event. Like, you know, a lot of depressed people will say, "Oh, I'm such a loser because I'm, you know, every time something bad happens, it's because it's supposed to happen, and I'm such a loser. The world sucks." And that.
Right.
They have this crazy belief system, and then you have the C, which is the emotional consequence. You know, you get pissed off or something like that, right?
Right. Yeah.
So let's say like these guys who, you know, I don't know. You were saying something about this. There's these guys who always want to be rappers, right?
Right.
And they're like 40 years old now. And you're like, you're past your time, right?
Right.
So the activating event is like, hey, somebody has a studio and somebody has like, you know, somebody wants to hang out with me and do some rap music. Yeah, I think I can do it this time. Right.
Right. Okay. Or I have a shot at something good because they're connected in somehow, whatever.
Somehow, some way. Right.
Right.
Well, there's also this. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
There's also this overriding sense in society that you can do anything if you put your mind to it.
Oh yeah.
And that's complete bullshit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because some people just aren't talented. They're just not talented, but they're told that you can do anything. So they start believing, you know, that they're, you know, or that's also part of this, you know, they want so badly to be good at it. They start reaching for crumbs. Like, man, that was such a good line. And the only line I did in the song that was any good, but it was such a good line. You know,
that line was good, so therefore it was a good song.
Because please let me be good at this, because I've always wanted in my life to be a rapper. I've always wanted to be a race car driver.
Right.
I've always wanted to be a race car. I can do it. No, you can't. Jeff.
But it's almost like if I fail at this, then I'm a loser overall.
Oh yeah, yeah, and
So
that's
they
the
don't
thing
give
too.
up on the dream. They don't give up on the dream.
Yeah,
doing
exactly.
it.
And that's the thing. Sometimes you just have to say, okay, this isn't for me, or this isn't,
Right.
it's not meant for me. It's cool. I'm good with that. I did it. I enjoyed it, but hey.
But then again, we got standards now. It's kind of like a weird, this is kind of a weird little sidestep here, but I think this is definitely an artist thing. It's definitely an artist, because art is subjective.
Yeah.
It's subjective. So you can get somebody take poop out of their butt and throw it against the canvas. Go, that is awesome. And some schmuckhole out there, some dumbass like postmodern or pretentious guy's gonna go, oh my god, I see the face of a donkey crossing the hill in your poop. And then the person's like, wow, I'm really an artist, because they've got, depending on what the other person wants from them, or whether it's, like there's literally been pictures of just like literally people throwing paint against a wall and saying that's art, just like the Friday song.
Oh yeah,
abstract art.
Yeah, or even the Friday song, Friday, getting that. Remember that whole
right? It's
Friday
a garbage
song?
ass song, but people were liking it for whatever.
And then so since people liked it, even though it was garbage, they liked it because it was garbage. It became, and now she's doing music all the time. She's got another,
and she's now considered an artist, a musician, as it were.
It's just, well, I've been really into how our society is kind of like spiraling into absolute madness.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes along with that need to like be famous and be seen. So these rappers are so desperate to be seen, and so desperate to be seen as good rappers, because they value, they grew up looking up to these guys, and they've been told that they can just do anything because you can be anything, if you just try.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
or they're told that your stuff is just as good as Ice Cube's. It's all subjective, which I don't know. That's a weird line to. I know, like I said, I'm going across at a different subject, but that's a weird tightrope to walk. Like, what is actually good art and what is just crap?
Well, we have another mutual friend that's still trying their hand at music, and they're not really. It's kind of like, dude, yeah, just get in where you fit in, man. Chill.
Well, it's not even that they're good, or I mean, it's just about what you expect from it, like
right.
But it does, like, at some point you have to go, hey, I'm not very good at this. Now, I guess.
Well, here's the idea. Here's the idea, though. You can always turn it from a dream unfulfilled to a hobby.
Well, that's more exactly. And that's what I've done. Like when
that's what I've done too.
When I go see Cruise Control, he has access to a studio, so we record some shit. And it's just hard drive happiness, man. It's not something that I'm like, oh, I'm going to put this out, man. It's going to hit. It's going to blow up or anything,
You know what? Just to go into this, and I'll just be a little open here. I was in a group last year that I'm no longer involved with, Zoomer, and you can still get it on. You can still find my music on our music on YouTube if you want to look up Zoomer, Zumur. It's an album that we did. And the whole time it was fun doing it, but there was always this undercurrent of expectation of like what we're going to do and how we're going to be seen and what's going to be the impact. So it's like we got lost. I know this is like I'm going off a little bit here, but we got lost in the idea of the fame and the dream instead of actually enjoying the process. And over the last like several months doing recordings with Max and doing recording with my other buddy, I kind of let that go, and it's made the whole experience just so much more fun. Yeah, like it's
when it's no longer work. When it's work, then it's not fun anymore.
Or when it's no longer a determination of your success or failure in life, or as being a labeled, a
failure, or
a schmuck, or you work at a freaking customer service center, or I'm the lead singer of a rock band.
Right? Yeah.
And no matter how good the stuff is, if you stop worrying about trying to be famous, I think it is. Maybe the fame is a part of it. That's just going off that example of doing the same things over again. But
it's what people they kind of fall into this whole thing. It's called extrinsic motivation, which is motivation outside of yourself. And so like you're motivated to, I don't know, maybe to please somebody. So you saying, oh, I'm just in a customer service job or something like that. It doesn't meet the societal expectations of somebody who, who became
who's
some
great.
Sort of
They say when you become great. Yeah.
Some sort of professional, an attorney or an accountant or something. I'm just customer service. Well, if you talk to yourself that way, then yeah, you're going to think, oh, I'm in a shit job. When in reality, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why we need customer service.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And actually, there's some very rewarding stuff in that particular job too.
Sure.
You know, it's
Depending
not
on how
just
you
a
take
shit
it.
job,
Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah, I was in customer service for a long time. So
yeah, so you know what's up.
Oh,
So or
yeah,
even
I
like
do.
a 7-Eleven clerk, you know, everybody shits on that. Oh, well, you're just working at a convenience store. Well, actually, there's some good things about that. Hell, shit, those people are amazing.
or just being productive, I guess, or not even. I think the real problem is with that rap thing. I'm going to say it. This has been coming back to something that's been on my mind a lot lately. It's fame. It's fame. It's being seen. It's narcissism. It's being liked. It's getting subscribers. It's getting a following. Being an influencer.
Well, look
branding
at
yourself.
Jussie Smollett.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Smollett. Juicy.
Juicy. Is it his
Jussie
name?
Smollett.
Yeah.
That's a guy he's out of Chicago or some shit.
Yeah, he's the dude who just staged the whole race thing in Chicago.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then he lost his mind in court and is doubling down on it. He refuses to. It's crazy. This he's just
So he's doing this all
Dave
for
Dave Chappelle didn't want to say his actual name for fear that he would get in trouble. And
Yeah.
so he made up a different name. He calls him Juicy Smollett.
Yeah, Juicy Smollett is what he called him. So, and that was, I don't know if you saw that special. It was a good one.
Man.
I don't think. Let's see. Was that his last one?
No, it was the one before that.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
good one too, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I saw the last one. But yeah, no, you're right. It's all for it's image driven. No, I got to keep this fucked up image going, and I got a rep, kind of thing.
And obviously, there's nothing wrong with wanting to perform in front of people and getting joy out of that, or shooting, being a comedian or something like that. But this manic need, I need to be famous, or else I'm a loser.
Right.
And Max, you talked about some guy who always constantly sells things. I think you were saying
That's the dude I was referring to, the pyramid scheme guy, because he always gets involved in these stupid, for a while he was trying to sell these what's now the Roku TV pretty much, and this was back in 2015, and he was talking about this TV that you can go on and you can watch any movie or any show that's ever been put out and blah blah blah, and he wanted me to help promote it, and he wanted to come on the show, and I'm just like, dude, this is stupid.
the thing about the multi-level marketing business is that a lot of the top leaders who got in early and are making all this money,
because they're on the bottom.
they make it look like you can do it too. You can just have the great work ethic that we have, and you'll get here too.
Yes.
Which is not true.
No.
But because people are so into this whole idea of, wow, if he can do it, I can do it, I'm sure. Yeah. They get into that whole idea of, I'm probably more capable than he is. Then he's there. Look at that. I can do it too. Let's go. Let me do this.
He drives an Escalade. He must be making money, man.
Well, it's not only that. It's funny how the different things, the first thing we're talking about, there are two different kind of things. One is money. I got to make a lot of money. And one is fame.
Right.
But it's also about the excitement. Oh, I got a new album coming out. All these neurotransmitters going crazy in your head. Oh my God. Tomorrow is the launch day of the pyramid. They have launch day. Tomorrow's the launch. It's going to be, oh God, I can't wait. It's the same thing with gaming or anything else that you're doing. That first excitement of something new. Relationships, same thing. If I don't have love, then you go back and you go, well,
it's more like at least for we're all heterosexual males, so we're gonna have to say that. But if you're a guy who's heterosexual, then it's like it doesn't mean that I have to find love. It's I have to have love from that girl.
Yeah.
That one girl.
Mm-hmm.
You mean that particular person, or just you mean?
Yes, because it goes back to the romance. Person. It goes back to the romance lie in movies and stuff like that. Because what happens in every goddamn movie? The girl across the room, except for the guy across the room. So the girl going, "Oh my God, a guy across the room." So it's a girl. Every guy wants this girl. So if I can get her,
then
I'm the shit or something like that. Right.
And there's something in it.
Ego, right?
Yeah, but it's just it's making constantly making that same mistake. I mean, the guy with the pyramid scheme deal, or getting into all these fly by night sales things or whatever, that he's been doing that since the 90s.
Well,
But see, but it reminds me of, and I've never understood it, and I never will because I'm not a woman. But why do women have multiple babies?
Oh,
When the first baby hurts like hell.
right. Like, why would you want to have that again? That's true. Why would you want to go back through that? Like, well,
Why
it's worth it
again.
Yeah, that's a great example. Like, why would you want to go through that same? And it sounds like a horrible experience, man. You start with the morning sickness, and then the fucking, you're weak because you have to eat all kinds of other, crazy stuff. If you don't.
But the theory behind that is that they've kind of forgotten about it. Maybe there's some time has elapsed. Unless, of course, there's like a back-to-back accident. Okay, fine. But let's say that they wait a couple of years. So now they have a 2-year-old, and then they have another, they're starting to have, they're pregnant again.
Right.
And they don't actually remember, we have a way of suppressing bad memories and keeping good memories, right?
Right. You remember the good stuff from it.
You remember the good stuff from it. And so maybe this guy, I don't know, maybe had some small success, and he's thinking, I can repeat it with this next company, or I can repeat it with this next company. And then somebody in their ear is telling them, hey, this is not like the other company. It's going to be better.
Well, it's not only that.
Awesome.
But they have this, the psychology around multi-level marketing pyramid schemes influence that, because they have Zoom meetings, and they have meetings together where they're all in the same room, and the vibe is all high, and the mass mob mentality is all there. It's like, yeah, we're all in it together. We're going to do this. We're a team, even though none of them are in it together.
No.
They're all in it for their own game, because the only way you're going to get more money is if you sell some,
just for you. Yeah. Well, it reminds me of gambling, because I'll see in kind of the same.
It is the same thing.
Good one. That's a good one. It is a good one.
Because I'll see people go, they'll play one machine and they're like, oh, this machine's not hitting. I'm going to move over to the other one. Like that's going to be different somehow.
Yeah.
But you're still throwing your money down the toilet in this fucking gambling. It's not like you're promised some shit.
Yeah, it's all that hit. Like, that excitement is this going to be the one, or is this going to be it?
Or it's one of those, like you were talking about gambling. I was thinking about it right now, and I'm like, okay, so you gamble at one slot and you're losing, so you go to the next one thinking you're going to win, and you just keep putting money in, and you say, that one's not working either, so you go to the next one. It's almost like the pyramid schemes and the sales positions
and the relationship.
Yeah,
and relationships,
because you just bounce around. And you're like, okay, this is the fact that it's different. You think, oh, it's a different person, or it's a different machine, or it's a different company, whatever. But you're still the same goddamn. Like you think you'd kind of pick up on the like. Oh, wait.
Well, there's a lot of things going on with gambling, because there's a lot of addictive properties in that. Which is the same thing with the multi-level, because you're kind of gambling there, and also with relationships.
Yeah, because you're gambling there too.
Trying to put your music out.
Gambling addiction is in the DSM. So.
Oh, I know it is. Yeah.
Maybe it's just addiction to risk, or addiction to new stuff that because they know, or then again, a lot of people don't. Not to jump off the bandwagon, not to jump off the subject or anything, but when it comes to gambling, it goes through phases. So you have one phase where you're thinking, oh, I could win. So you're kind of like in that winning phase, right? But then you start falling into this whole thing of, oh shit, I lost a lot of money. I got to get it back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's it too. Like now I have to gamble because I got to get this shit back that I lost. Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like the next day hangover thing. You're like, oh God, I need a beer. To even myself out here,
right?
I've overdid it. I took out too much money from my liver the night before, and now I'm shaking. I need a fucking beer or something like that,
Damn.
Yeah.
Or relationship. Oh, I'm alone. I can't be alone.
Yeah. I need.
So it's kind of like it's really related to actually people doing different things or the same thing and having the same result as it being like you want the same result, like maybe subconsciously, like when you're drinking, you don't want the hangover, but you're not really thinking about that. Or when you're gambling, you don't want to lose, but that first initial rush is worth the chance of feeling like shit the next day.
But it's always about that. So like one of the things that we discuss in substance use, counseling groups and stuff like that is something called playing the tape through. Because what we do is we say, oh yeah, man, I'm going to get messed up today. It's going to feel great. It's going to be awesome. but you're like, oh yeah, well, what happened the last time? Well, I blacked out and I didn't even know where I was when I woke up the next day, or like something horrible. And you're like, well, play that whole thing through and be like, oh yeah, I don't want to do that again. Get that.
So watch the whole thing. Don't just go from the, oh, it was great, man. I got my dick sucked when I was drunk and it was awesome, where
right.
There's other things that came with it too, like you blacking out.
The same thing with the MLM and all the like going back to either the same relationship or the same gig or the same whatever. It's like that first little bit, you're like, oh yeah, that was awesome, man. We had a chance to like bond with people and all that. Cause I know in MLMs, they do something called love bombing, where it's basically like they show all kinds of love to you because they want you to be, kind of in the group,
Right. And happy with it.
And so people are kind of addicted to that sometimes. They're like, oh man, people love me and they don't even know me.
And they don't even realize what it is. And it's the same thing with any like alcohol is the same way. Like you remember the good time that you had Thursday where you're, and then the next day you didn't wake up that bad.
Right. And so there was a positive, So it's not all bad,
or like the MLM, like, or relationships. The sex is always so good in the beginning. Yeah. Because you're getting with girls who drop their pants the first night and then the same type of girl, right? You know what I'm saying? Or guy, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. You're going for the same person.
Same kind of person where they're doing the same patterns to get the same initial burst of good results from it.
Yeah. Well, that's like
it's interesting.
It's like the dating site deal, where they always say, "Oh, it's a numbers game. It's a numbers." So same kind of shit, man. It's just like that. So,
well, I've been into the whole idea lately of the consumerism idea, where this is kind of going on another tangent, but where people relationships are treated like products, like people are like products now.
Oh yeah,
you shop around for a relationship. You don't, you shop around and you can examine people. Like if you meet someone, you can look them up and research them before you actually get to talk to them and meet them.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah,
like
that's and
I've heard of that happening too, where they'll actually research the guy or girl or look them up online. And
what are you doing on a dating site?
Yeah,
you're researching it. They're like a sales product. You're like buying a freaking book.
That's true.
I'll click
What's the specs on this? You're going to build a bitch.
What's the specs? You're 5'8", 3, whatever, 200.
Well, here's another twist to that situation. How do you think Facebook and Instagram and Twitter are all free? Because we are all being targeted, ads targeted to us.
Yep.
So they find out what we like and they figure out ads that can be targeted to things that we like.
Yep.
Well, but we are the product now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So therefore, if we're the product, then what do we become? We become products, objects,
commodities.
I'm going to experience you, and then when I get tired of you, I can replace you with another product.
Right. I'll just buy a new bitch. Go to build a bitch.
And maybe that's another thing that goes back to the relationship stuff. It's like some people,
Well, yeah.
Max comes up with the funniest little word salad.
Always, man, always.
Well, getting back to what we were talking about, I have another slant on it too.
Okay.
Which goes back.
Oh, but this is your fault. If you say something right now, this is your fault. It's not mine.
No, well, I'm certifiable, but I'm not certified. So
yeah, you can't blame him. He can't.
I'm certifiable, but not certified. So
can't be held liable. I'm not certifiable.
No, this is just a thought that I had about I wonder how much and this goes back to the Peter Pan syndrome we were talking about. How much is it goes back to the good memory, clinging to the past.
Right.
Maybe in 1999, the guy with the multi-level marketing made 15 grand off it, was making bank. And so it's
then they went down.
Yeah. And then the good time. Yeah. But they're all the good times because that's the best time in their life. They were making, money and they were feeling good about themselves. And that was the best time of their life. So they're going to do the same things to recapture the best time of their life. It's like my aunt.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That makes sense.
My aunt calls me every time she calls. Well, she can't call me now. I kind of blocked her because that's a long story. But the point is she'd call me drunk. And every time she called me, she'd sing, "And now it's cold outside," which is a song we used to play. It's an old 60s song that we play and dance around with when we were, when we were younger. And that was her best time of her life. So she's like, okay, how do I get back to the best time of my life? Like, how do I?
That's kind of funny because my wife is trapped in the 90s. So like all the music she listens to. No, I mean, she likes Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and all of them,
Oh,
She
okay.
likes all them. She likes all the 90s country. She likes all the 90s Spanish music. She likes all the, I mean, she's very eclectic when it comes to her music.
She might like our buddy's new
it's-
band.
but it's all 90s stuff.
No.
And everybody makes fun of her, like, oh yeah, Miss 90s.
So she's known for that. Like,
Oh, yeah,
that's
yeah.
the 90s.
She's
Well,
known
we got
for
a
it.
buddy who's an 80s guy. You know, like
Oh yeah.
right away. It just, and which is okay too. That's cool. You know, like, yeah, man, that's
Yeah.
our 80s buddy, man. He's an 80s rock guy. You know,
It's just being
Yeah.
stuck in the past, though, and it's like trying to
Recapture that
recapture that moment in time. So you keep doing the same stuff, and you know,
That
Yeah.
reminds me of what Chris Rock said. He said, he said, yeah, man, you're probably always going to be, you're probably always going to love the music that you listened to when you started having sex. He said, so I'm always going to be a fan of Houdini.
The freaks come out at night.
At night.
Yeah.
I think that's I wonder though, is it I guess the question is it because they want a
Nostalgia.
different, is it because they want a different result,
Or they like the same one.
or subconsciously they want the same result, because a lot of people like those traumatic relationships that are ending a shambles, and then they can start,
Right. It's just kind of the cycle they're used to. Like, oh, this is what I
But
like.
see, that's the thing. That's the thing about psychology, is it never really has a perfect answer that fits
No.
everybody.
no.
So, like,
yeah.
So, like, one person may be like, oh, well, yeah, I want to go back to the days of nostalgia. I want to do that. Or another person's like, you know what? I just been trying and failing at the same thing, but I know that I'm going to be able to succeed one day.
Yeah.
Some of those MLM guys, they'll talk about how Abraham Lincoln failed at 7 things before he became president. Well, that's Abraham Lincoln. He's an exception to a lot of rules.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot, but I mean, things are just lucky sometimes. You
And
get
were they
Yes.
7 of the same things over and over again? The same, like that's
well,
Well,
and
no,
I mean,
no.
shit.
His were all different. That's what's weird. Like, he tried business, he tried being a lawyer, he tried being a senator. I don't know what else. There was a few other ones.
Well,
But the point is that he went, you know what? I'm trying a different tact. I'm going to be a senator.
Right.
And then a month later, I'm going to try to be a senator again.
Right.
Right.
I'm
He
gonna
wasn't
run-
trying
right.
for that same seat each time. It was like different stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it's like when I was looking for work. I mean, I thought I was never going to get a job, and I tried a bunch of different shit. Ran the gamut. So from customer service stuff to like possible. I mean, cruise control remembers like applying at all these different jobs
Yeah.
that I was going for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
then
that
now I'm at
reminds me. Did you ever think that you would get the job that you have?
No, hell no.
Me
No.
neither. So the job that I have, I didn't think I was ever going to, I mean, that wasn't even on my radar, right?
No,
Same
no.
thing with you, right?
Yep. Dude, it was the furthest thing from my mind. I didn't even consider where I work now as a
So funny
possibility.
enough, studying for the NCE, there was this little quote that I found, and it was in the study book that I was reading, and it said about 20% of people find their jobs by accident.
Yeah, and that's true.
I'm like,
And
holy, that's crazy. That's a big statistic.
And I would say, you know what? I would say the same for relationships too. I mean, a lot of times when you meet somebody who's really cool, you're like, damn, I wasn't even expecting to meet anybody tonight. I just was hanging out.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So same shit.
I think there's something to that. It's because it's almost like you make decisions to get something that you want that hinder you from getting the exact thing you're looking to get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of ways of going about that, but that's totally true. Like, I've had the same thing happen where it's been like, oh, okay. It's been dropped in my lap. I was looking for something else, but this brings me in mind of Mike Rowe. You guys know who Mike Rowe is? Dirty Jobs.
Oh, okay. That guy.
The Dirty Jobs guy. He talks about the back guano and stuff like that. Well, he has this video, and I think it's a PragerU video, and he talks about how don't follow your passion. And his idea is find something practical you can do that will serve society. Because if you follow your passions, just because you have a passion doesn't mean you're good at it.
Oh man.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Think, you know what? I want to say we talked about that at some point. Cruise control. It sounds familiar.
Yeah.
It's come up before. I know because because I agree with that. It's like, man, sometimes doing what you love isn't the ideal job for you because you might wind up hating that shit. Or
there's a number of things that can happen. You might not
Well,
be
not
good
just
at it.
not
like
just
with the
that,
rest,
not just that, but like these accidental jobs that both you and I got, I know for sure, and I've only been there for 6 months, but I know for sure I love this job. Like it was nothing I was even looking for, but now that I'm doing it, I love that job. Like I actually come home and talk to my wife about my job. Like that's so weird.
Right. Well, I love what I do.
My wife would come to talk to me. She always talks to me about her job because she's a very open communicator, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, so how was your day? And I was like, oh, the same old crap. No big deal. Because it was just customer service, or it was just, doing something with something. But now I'm just like, oh yeah, this happened today and this happened today. I'm like, what the heck? That's not even me.
So you're really feeling
weird.
Well, that's cool. I mean, it's good to like what you do,
And the same thing with Max. Max goes, what? I had a bad day? Oh, that's kind of
right. And I do have bad days occasionally.
Oh yeah.
But
occasionally.
But I always tell people when we have our meetings, because we all tell each other what we do in the organization, whatever. Yeah. And I always tell people I have the coolest job here. You know what I mean? Because that's how I feel. I get to do some of the coolest shit.
Yeah. I hear you.
So it's not just boring day to day. Oh, I was just helping patrons.
See, and that's the thing. Like my job is there's always something new happening. Sometimes it's just, so I work with computers, but I help people. I basically help people with technology, basically.
Mm-hmm. So you're assistive technology dude.
Yeah.
Something like that. Vaguely general, if you want to go.
Yeah. And so, sometimes I have no idea what I'm going to be encountering that day. And somebody will be like, hey, can you come fix this for me? And most of the time I know how to fix it. I'm like, all right, cool.
Right.
And that reinforces your sense of being all right. I feel competent. I feel like I'm doing, but you're also helping somebody else. So it's like a double win. And, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's I agree with that. Not following your passion deal. Cause sometimes, it might turn your passion into something you don't like anymore.
Or instead of having a passion that you need to maybe a hobby but you have something grounded. Because a lot of people, what he was talking about is that people will go into stuff like this, they'll go into college and spend all this money in college on all these degrees that have no practical relevancy in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
And they can't get anything out of it because they followed their passion, but they didn't think about
biology. I mean, biology is cool and all in its own little way. I don't really like it that much. It was funny. It was funny because I would help my wife with a bunch of like her prereqs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And she said, okay, I'm taking biology 102. I'm like, you're on your own. I don't know nothing about that stuff.
Actually, human biology was kind of interesting. I like that one. That was cool. I enjoyed that class.
I think it's a lot of stuff. I guess the point is though, like these people are getting, in creative writing,
Yeah.
I
want to be a writer.
How many people are going to be? What are you going to do when you have a $50,000 college bill? And so
my first book hasn't taken off yet. I can't pay off my student loan.
And I've written 4 books and they're absolute dog turd, all of them. And he's like, well, this is the same thing with the rap thing. Oh man, finally, it's like at some point, because we had this never give up. They had this, we're getting propagandized a lot with never give up.
Never give up on your dreams. And don't let people kill them.
And it's like sometimes you maybe you should have some more realistic dreams. Maybe your dreams should be a little bit more
grounded.
And like having a great relationship, because that's not really a dream of anybody's anymore. It's, I want to get a nice, raise it, it's like, oh no, I want to be freaking,
And depending on your frame of reference and your health and all that kind of stuff, how long are you really going to live?
Well, that's another thing.
You got to do something that's going to be something that's I don't know. It just seems like it's sometimes the dream kind of dies. With me, one of my dreams is kind of like Max. I still pride myself in being a pretty decent keyboard player, but I don't go seek out rap groups and be like, I can play for you. I can play bass lines and do all this stuff for you and make it sound good. Blah, blah, blah. Before, back in 2002, 2001, that's what I was doing.
Well, that's what I was doing around that time. Same shit.
What happens to that passion when it gets beat down with the need to succeed and the need for fame? It gets destroyed.
Yep.
A lot of times, not all the time. Some people thrive on it, but for me, it's
I said, hobby. Make it a hobby.
That
Yeah.
yep.
You know, I'll mess around on my keyboard at least 1 hour a week.
Yeah, and that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, just having
Yeah.
fun with that. But yeah, you don't. It's not a thing where I gotta put something out or else I won't be relevant.
no.
Or some
Oh, no.
weird shit. So
Yeah.
No.
just want to stay with your brain.
Now, then
on the planet.
again, if you're hanging out and you're, maybe you see somebody and you're like, hey, we want to jam with us. You're like, okay. And you get involved in it. Then guess what you have now? You have a fucking job you love and you're doing your
what you
passion
love
and your hobby.
Yep.
But you have a grounding. And that's a thing. Grounding, having some ground.
Yep.
Where you can actually work on your hobby and your passion, but also know that you're stable, and not just financially, but just, whatever, emotionally,
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Well,
whatever works for you. So,
and that's, like some people will say to me, oh, I wish you guys had more people that checked out your podcast and you guys got to promote it. And and no, man, we're happy doing what we do.
Yeah.
So, this is cool.
Yeah. And we actually, we throw it on there, but I'm not going to freaking make it become something that's not enjoyable, because I want it to be something that's not, or bigger than it is. Because if I don't enjoy it now, will I enjoy it when it gets bigger, or will it just be more of a pain? Like, oh, we got 5,000 views. We got to get it up now. Because that is what will happen, Max. That is what will happen. The more subs we get, the more stuff we get, the more pressure we would put on ourselves, and the more worry we worry about certain stuff, or try to respond to everybody on these things. So
don't sub, I guess.
No,
no, we want you to. Oh no, we want you to sub. But I guess what we're saying is, like, when we start pressuring ourselves because we're getting more subs, I think we got like 200, something like that.
I know. So, it was just a good joke to throw in there. Like, huh?
Yeah, everybody sub. I'll do like the rest of the YouTubers. Hit that like button, man.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Smash that like button and subscribe.
No, I like what this one guy. I love what this one guy says. He says, "Tickle the bell and all the other buttons around it."
Sounds like playing with my balls, but
Bottom line, though, is there's also before we go, we got to talk about the other side of it. That people that do pursue stuff and continue to pursue, even after failing, a lot of times do succeed in the job they want to do.
Oh, sure.
And that's and that can happen. That can, a lot of shit's just a crapshoot in certain cases. I guess.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, like we were saying, we're talking about how 20% of people find their job by accident, which means to me it's kind of equal to luck.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just in the right place at the right time to have that happen. Yeah. I mean, the only reason why I got the job that I had is because I was interviewing for another job in the same building.
Wow. So it just so happened. That's crazy. Well, and that's what I'm saying. A lot of shit is we don't have control over that in a lot of cases.
Yeah, you can even call it luck, or I'm not religious, but you can call it faith, whatever you want to call it, what's meant to be, or however you want to look at it.
Well, and that's why I hate that question. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? I don't fucking know. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I don't. I couldn't tell you. I think that's a stupid question.
Well, considering how things are going in the world, I'm in that doomsday thing. I've been going down the YouTube
underground.
You're going down the YouTube rabbit hole.
The world is doomed.
Social
media and technology is destroying our minds, and we're all in a sick society.
Okay, so I think you need to look at your irrational beliefs there, sir, and let's check it out and see what's going on there.
No, you know what I need to do? I need to stop. This is what I need to do. I need to stop looking at YouTube and expecting different results.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the activating event. Stop looking at the negative stuff so that your belief system doesn't get triggered so much.
Yes. But the thing is, it's the same kind of thing. You're looking at YouTube and all the social media expecting a different result, but 90% of the time you come out angry. However, well, there's a lot of psychology around that too. But however, there's that 10% time where you get a positive boost from it. Like,
sure.
Oh yeah.
So that's the same kind of shit, man.
Yep. That's just what it is, man. Wow.
Humans are crazy, man.
They are.
Yep. Humans are definitely very complex, intricate beings. So anyway, well, fuck.
We are beautiful, complex beings.
Oh, geez.
As always, this is fun. So we'll be back next time. I think we wrap this up now. It's about that time.
We can wrap it up, man. So
cool. Anything else you want to add, Louie? Any other
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Any other points of view?
Yeah, I mean, unless Max has any other ideas of like what to like, any examples of what he wants to kind of bring
No,
up
man,
real quick.
I think we covered it all. We did a nice job of kind of jumping into a lot of different things and giving a lot of different examples. So I think that was I think it was cool, man.
Cool.
So
Fun stuff as always. Well,
all right, guys.
this, what is it? The hell's
Today's it's going to be the 14th when this goes up.
14th, yeah. Pie day. It's Pie Day tomorrow. Whee!
Pi Day. Yes, right. 3.14. Yay.
Anyways,
Oh,
happy
is that what they're trying to say?
Yeah. Well, I
That's
always
so
say Missouri
nerdy.
Day because
Yeah.
that's the area code for Missouri is 314.
Well,
so.
that's
true.
the virtue signaling of knowing your hit. Like, hey, it's Pie Day. Who I know it Pie.
yeah. Like until you said it, I was like, Pi, what the? 3.14.
Yeah. Except
it's
it's 3.14159.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
shit.
Damn. All right, you got figuring on that shit, huh?
show off.
Wow.
Certified.
Yeah, he's certified now.
Certified show off.
Yeah. Anyways, hey, before we go, congratulations, man.
Yeah,
Seriously.
congrats,
Sure,
man.
took a lot of hard work and also on your your lucky quote unquote
Job.
fine.
Mhm.
That's hard to find something where you're like, not only am I getting paid, but I'm not coming home and getting in a Calgon take me away bath for 2
Right.
hours.
Going, oh God, what a day. Shit.
Or for me, it was a hot shower. I go, oh God, 10-hour.
Wash the
Oh yeah,
fuck
I mean, and getting paid reasonably well too. So
Yeah, man, that's cool.
This is another
Can't knock
another
that.
topping on the cake.
Yeah, more
exactly.
power to you guys. Well,
Good
anyways,
shit.
this has been the Nothing Sacred Shrink Wrap. I am Cruise Control.
And I'm Maxwell Silverhammer.
And I'm Luie Loc.
And
that's the story there.
Bitches.
See ya.
We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred.
With Maxwell Silverhammer.
We are nothing sacred. With cruise control. We are nothing sacred.